Hawks make some opening statements. Hey, Will Compton, give me an opening statement on this weekend coming up in the NFL.
Yes, sir, Greeny. I got the New England Patriots going down to Tampa Bay. Drake Maye continues his MVP campaign. He's top 5 in yards, completion percentage, touchdowns. Vrabel's got this team playing with piss and vinegar, the #1 rush defense in the NFL. Shout out Stretch. They go down to Tampa Bay. As a Vrabel guy, they upset and they beat the Bucs.
Drake Maye for MVP is starting to get a little noise all around the league. Taylor Lewan, give me an opening statement this weekend.
I love everything Will Compton said, but I don't expect the New England Patriots to go 15-2. I got them losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield has had an opportunity to get a little healthy as the bye weeks come along. He's going to get back to his MVP fashion and actually jump over Drake Maye after this week.
Listen up, Vrabel. Going against Braves.
Living about making quarterbacks uncomfortable. That offensive line, they give up the second most sacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this week, November, Tampa Bay, that's tough.
Sneaky, great game. Dan, give me an opening statement. This one is a big one.
Yeah, there is a brewing quarterback controversy, competition, whatever you want in San Francisco. Brock Purdy, really good player. Mac Jones has been absolutely sensational in his time.
He has
doing it with people that have been beat up, stars and perimeter players that haven't been healthy. He's been knocked around, yet this team somehow, even with all those injuries, is still in the playoff race, and it's because of the quarterback play. There's a quarterback controversy brewing in San Francisco.
Oh, listen, you don't have to go to Brock Purdy as long as Mac Jones is playing like that right now.
Let's come back to that one, but let's go to Hawks next. Hawk, give me an opening statement.
Jackson Smith-Njigba is the actual MVP of the National Football League.
What?
Look, we can make all the mental gymnastics we want to about the quarterbacks, but nobody's really dominating. That's why everyone has an opinion. The person who's dominating is JSN.
He is.
He's averaging 118 yards per game. Last year, he had 1,100 yards. He has 948 in 8 games. Last thing I'll say, 4.6 yards per route. Had Calvin Johnson done that in 2012 when he broke the receiving record, he would have had 3,503 yards that season.
It's good.
How many yards per route did you have in the back in the day, Hawk?
Like 7 or something. It was really.
Come on now.
All right.
Let's go.
7.
I want to come
That's
back.
why I mess with you, Hawk.
I want to come back to
Wow.
that. All kidding aside, I want to come back to that 49er thing a little bit later. But let's get to the game of the week, which doesn't come until Monday, and it happens in Green Bay. And Dan will be there for the Eagles and the Packers on Monday night. Philly coming off a bye after back-to-back wins over the Vikings and Giants. They are in clear control of the NFC East. The Packers, meanwhile, fell into their trap in a trap game, 16-13 home loss against Carolina last week after they had won 3 straight games. So let's look at where this thing stands. These numbers, I think, are fascinating. You want to know what's at stake on Monday night? Everything. Our analytics say Green Bay needs to win this game to stay in the mix for the top spot. With a loss, the Packers' chance to earn the 1 seed goes to 4%. If they win, they would then have a better chance than the Eagles of being the 1 seed. So, as we look back at the egg that the Green Bay Packers laid last week against Carolina, what was your #1 takeaway on it, Dan Orlovsky?
The offensive line in Green Bay is not championship caliber. It hasn't been all season. This team cannot win a Super Bowl with the way this offensive line has played over the course of this season. The consistency of them living in the shotgun, and we're going to get to that of why, I feel it spreads their offensive line out so much that the one-on-ones consistently get beat. 1st and 10, you get beat quickly as an offensive line. Jordan Love under pressure. Once again, in the shotgun. And then look at these defensive ends. They're both standing up. There's no thought of defending the run here. They're just thinking, here comes pass rush, let's get up the field, here comes pass rush. Jordan Love has absolutely no shot. And so I think that the Packers right now, because of the style that they're wanting to play in their pass game, which is very much so shotgun or pistol-centric, it's forcing their offensive line to play so much in space that they're consistently athletically getting beat. Now, this is the reason why. If you look at where they are offensively when it comes to the shotgun, Jordan Love is as good as anybody performing in the shotgun or pistol. He's QBR, his completion percentage, all that. It's fantastic. Left side of your screen. That tells you why they're doing it so much. Now, you go on the right side. When they run the football in the gun, they're bad. This is an offense that, run game-wise, is bottom 5 in the NFL when it comes to running the football out of the gun. That's what Josh Jacobs. And so put it bluntly, this is a very one-dimensional offense, and their offensive line will have to play much better if they're really going to consider themselves a Super Bowl threat.
All of those things obviously are incredibly important, and then there is another one that we haven't mentioned yet, and that is, what did you say sitting in that chair right here last week?
Last week I said Tucker Kraft was the best tight end in football, and this week they don't have him. And that's significant. That's not just losing a tight end. That's losing your number one receiver for this Packers offense. And he does it in a bunch of ways. He does it down the field. He does it run after catch. He does it in the screen game. You name it. He's so versatile. They've kind of based their passing offense around him. So now Musgraves has to come in and step up, which is a little serendipitous because that's how Kraft came along through a Musgraves injury. And then these receivers, they draft the first-round receiver for the first time in how many years? They're going to have to get something out of that.
He hasn't done anything. Matthew Golden hasn't done anything.
How about the first-round receiver?
That the first guy,
He started getting involved, then he hurt his shoulder. He was a little bit more involved recently, and I would think that once he gets healthy, he'll be involved again. And they're going to need something from Luke Musgrave, who now has to step in.
Christian Watson.
Tucker Kraft.
And then I wanted to ask you guys this because I brought this up last week, and it came to fruition. And I wonder just how real a phenomenon this is in the NFL. The Packers last week were coming off a game in which they had just played Aaron Rodgers. So we all understand all the fanfare and all the emotions going around that. They were looking ahead to this week where they play the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, on a Monday night. Sandwiched in between a home game in which they're a double-digit favorite against a Carolina team that, while they're better than I think most people realize, people don't talk a lot about it, don't take that seriously. Is there such a thing as a trap game in the NFL, and did the Packers fall into it?
Yeah, I think there's such thing as a trap game in the NFL. A team like the Jets, no disrespect, Rainey. No. But you use it, and then there's a next game right after that that's, in your opinion, much more important and much more difficult. It's easy to get lulled in that trap. But if you're the Green Bay Packers, you've already fallen into that trap game situation earlier in the year with the Cleveland Browns, if you're going to look at it as trap game. So you can have a tough game versus a bad team in the NFL. This league is built to be a 500 league. But if you do it again, now you're questioning leadership, coaching, mentality. What are these meeting rooms like in the building Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, I can buy the trap game mentality because it is surprising that they lost to the Panthers. And the Panthers won the one way they could win that game, which is running it down the throat. The Packers, they do have a top defense in the NFL. They didn't, they have this pass rush to where they weren't able to earn the right to rush the passer. But yeah, you can fall into that, but you're going to have to show up against the Eagles because this isn't a must win, but this is one to where if you are going to be that team to stand up in the NFC, this is the game to do it, coming off the Eagles having a hot win against the Giants.
And then the Eagles coming off their bye, and Schefter, remind everybody that since we've last seen the Eagles, they've made some significant changes.
Let's start with this. The Eagles' magic number right now is 6. 6 to clinch the division title. Nobody is going to catch the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. We're talking magic numbers on November 5th. Right. And if we go back to last year, coming out of a bye, that was when Philadelphia had organizational meetings. The offense got together. They came out humming in the second half. Well, they're coming off their bye again after more meetings. And not only are they coming out of the bye after more meetings with the magic number being 6, but they have 3 new additions on the defensive side of the football. Michael Carter as a nickelback, where they had some weakness. Jair Alexander at cornerback, where they had some weakness. And Jalen Phillips as an edge rusher, where they had some weakness.
And Nolan Smith's getting healthy?
And Nolan Smith's getting healthy. So they are loading up and preparing to make the type of second-half run that they did last year.
They are an underdog for the first time this season, and we got the picks up on the screen for you here. The Eagles, an underdog, again, first time this year. They're a 2.5-point dog on the road, which means they're basically telling us we think these teams are equal, and that sounds about right. And the picks are interesting to look at, as we see they are only Compton on the Packers. Everybody else likes the Eagles on the road. I
feel good. I feel good in this pocket right here. Yeah, like I know we were having conversations.
I feel nice.
Danny saying Eagles team to beat in the NFC. I'm not buying that. They just beat the Giants.
Those words.
No way. For our QB, Dan Orlovsky. All right, Dan, let's start with Lamar Jackson. He's 24-3 in his career against the NFC. What's going to be his biggest challenge trying to keep that going against Minnesota this weekend?
Yeah, this is the best game that this Minnesota defense has had all season long against the Detroit Lions this past week, and it was really their fire zone pressures. Lamar's legs are going to be huge. If you look at the Vikings defense this year, they've given up big games to quarterbacks who have ran Justin Herbert certainly at the very top of that list. Lamar coming back using his legs and broken plays is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, because Goff wasn't able to do that last week. Steeler defense finally showed up. Will they be a nightmare matchup for Justin Herbert this week, who's playing with no offensive tackles?
Well, that's the caveat, the tackles. The Steelers defense, again, best performance of the year for them. I thought they were really smart with how they played the Colts, playing pass first and second down rather than the run. When Joe Alt's on the field, Herbert's fine. When Joe Alt's off the field, Herbert's not. This team is going to struggle without that all-pro left tackle.
Yeah, they've been without Rashawn Slater all season long, and now they're going to be without Alt for the rest of the year. For the last one, Dan, I gave you a homework assignment. The Patriots haven't played a lot of big spotlight games that the whole country has seen. So I think a lot of fans are very well aware that Drake Maye is playing out of his mind, but they don't really know what it looks like. What does it look like?
Vintage Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady. It's because they hunt matchups, and that's the reason what's going on. So you take Pop Douglas and Ramondre Henderson, and you flip them. Now the quarterback sees what the defense in. He's going to the second play. He knows the pressure's coming off his left. He knows that Pop Douglas, a receiver lined up at running back, is going to be covered by a defensive end, outside linebacker. You void the secondary, and then that creates plenty of space one-on-one. You got a receiver much more athletic and space than that defensive end. Touchdown. And then they're killing defenses with crossers. They often have two people in the backfield. Number one, you're chipping, you're helping protection, and then they're just reading man coverage. That backside corner follows Booty. He's got that shallow cross. Once again, we have a void in the secondary. It's space-wise, and Drake's throwing it versus man coverage as good as anybody in football right now. They hunt matchups from an offensive perspective. It's what Notorious was part of the New England of old. It's what they were known for, and they're doing it again.
Yeah, that's the value of elite coaching and an extremely talented young player. And you think it adds up to MVP, Will Compton?
Yeah, I have a fun stat for you boys. Drake Maye has become the fourth quarterback in NFL history to record 200-plus passing yards and 100-plus passer rating in 8 consecutive games within a season. The other quarterbacks who have hit this milestone all won the MVP in those seasons. Aaron Rodgers in 2011 and 2020, Tom Brady in 2007, and Peyton Manning in 2004.
And can I tell you something?
Come on, Schefter, you like numbers.
This is exactly why the New York Jets have added 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years, because they have to find a way to keep up with Drake Maye and Josh Allen. And this is what the Miami Dolphins eventually are going to have to do, because they're going to be in a division with Drake Maye and Josh Allen and the quarterback that the Jets get. So they're going to need one, too, over time. So we're going to see an arms race in the AFC East.
You know what that's telling me, Danny O? Schefter knows something that we don't.
Shefty's always up to something
going on that we don't.
I think it's always a safe bet to assume Schefter knows things we don't. I want to come back to that, but is he this good? Like, are we willing already to? I feel like there is a movement in the NFL on the part of some people. I host 5 different shows here every week, so I get a lot of different opinions. I'm just saying, the panel is different. I feel like there's some people out there ready to anoint Maye right now as the next great one. And then there are some who are a little bit hesitant. Which side of that are you on, Taylor Lewan?
I don't disagree with what Will's saying when it comes to the New England Patriots. Drake Maye is playing at a level that very few have ever seen before. He's been absolutely incredible. The thing that concerns me for Drake Maye in the second half of the season is how much he has been affected by his offensive line playing inconsistent. If he's going to keep getting hit at the rate he's been getting hit, I don't see him finishing the season, along with Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold playing the way he is. And so it's
Dan's pissed.
Dan's pissed off.
No.
It's November.
I'm with you.
It's
I'm
November.
with you. This will be the biggest challenge Drake Maye has faced in his NFL career.
This game.
100%. Because this defense, 1, very good against the run, Tampa. And then 2, makes you constantly think. They're constantly changing the question on you, pre-snap to post-snap. This pressure's coming from here. This guy's dropping from here. This blitz is coming from here. This coverage is rotating that way. He hasn't really seen that. So we're going to know a lot more about Drake Maye, just as far as how good after this week. This is the biggest challenge he's seen in his NFL career.
He has looked like an emerging star. I mean, he's there. He's a star. He's emerged as a star. And right now, you're talking about him being, right now, he probably is the best quarterback from last year's draft class right now.
Yeah, and I would say this, too. What quarterback right now is elevating the people around him and their performance more? When it comes to their baseline of like talent and ability.
Who else does that in his own division?
Josh Allen. Good point.
Yeah, and there they are.
Shefty answered with the question and a question.
And this is by the Jets.
To Danny O's point, too, it's not like he's surrounded by a bunch of names. And if this team does continue like this journey this season and end up as the 1 seed in the AFC or win that division.
He'll win MVP.
How does he not win the MVP?
He's doing more with less, and it's one of the, should be the benchmark of the MVP.
Look, Patrick Mahomes won it in his second year. Lamar Jackson won it in his second year. Here's Drake Maye, amazingly, in this conversation.